Last time on She Rules the Waves, I stopped by my friend in Lomma. I dug into some futile projects, but eventually got on the right track after advice from my friends. I started the spray hood restoration and invented a new way to charge my 48 volt back from the engine alternator. Now let's service the engine. Hi, my name is Linus Jackson and I'm a sailor, musician and father of two. I bought my boat Sedna in Italy and have spent the last 2 seasons sailing her to her new home in the south of Sweden. It's been an incredible journey, but now it's time to roll up the sleeves and get her ready for the adventures to come. So, last week I reprioritized my tasks and decided to start with the engine charging. But now it's time for the engine itself. So, as I said, to be able to move, I need to service the engine. So I'm gonna try to start it and see what I need to focus on first. But the simple task of starting the engine turned out to be a bigger hassle than I had anticipated. Pre-glowing the engine. Now let's try it. Yep, I definitely have to replace the starter battery. So I just connected the starter cables to the house battery, the 12 volt house battery. Let's try again. See? Getting there. Well, not really. I had to use starter cables, pre-glow, try it, use starter gas, pre-glow again, try it, and so on. But eventually, I got it started. Yeah, as you can see, the raw water pump was leaking pretty badly. So I have to check that first. Engine charge is on the way. Raw water pump. Let's go. Okay, so to get to the water pump, I have to kind of be inside that little hatch. So I have to remove all this stuff. And then I have to do some of the work from here and some of the work from inside the engine room. So the pump it looks just like this. It's connected to the engine like this. Here's where the water comes in and goes out again. And there's an impeller in here and a rod, of course. And there's a gasket here and a gasket there. And apparently the leak is on the inside. So unfortunately I have to remove the entire pump to be able to change the gasket on the inside there. This is what the little gaskets look like. Yeah, so that screw and the one on the bottom there that I had to get loose. So I got the upper one loose now, and now it's time for the bottom one. So the impeller actually looks pretty good, and well, the gasket inside there I can't tell, but this one, yeah, I still have to take it all apart. So I finally got it out. Last one. Holy shit, that was stuck in there. Okay, so let's change those and put it all back together. Okay, so it's back together there. Now I'm putting in the one of the O-rings got away. putting it on the impeller, and then we're done. Okay, so the pump is back in place. So now, just let's hope that it won't leak. I am keeping my fingers crossed, but I'm not extremely hopeful. Let's see. So, as per usual, we start with the pre-glowing that we jerry-rigged down here. Yeah, still have the problem with the battery, so let's put some starter cables on. Alright, cables are on, let's try it again. Well, let's just say I got to do the same song and dance once again, before old Tommaso, the engine, finally played ball. Don't really see any water coming out of the pump for now, so let's see if there's water at all. Water coming out, that's a good sign. Okay, so I'll just let it go for a while, see if it gets any hotter, see what happens. Then I'm gonna change the oil while it's warm and the filters. One thing that I'm also thinking about doing is that this jerry-rigged pre-glower thingy, I'm thinking about mounting it up here. And also mount another one that is connected to the Syrix relay, which will actually kind of work as starter cables, but I just have to push a button instead of go down there and put some little cables all over the engine room. And while the engine is heating up so that I can exchange the oil, I will do a little bit of sewing. But since I already showed you that yesterday, I'll just show you the end results. Okay, so the engine has been running hot. It's pretty warm, it's okay. And now it's time to change the oil. So I bought this pump, similar to the one that I borrowed back in the Netherlands. And while the oil is warm, I'm going to get it all out. It's gray again, for sure. So this is obviously a problem. Even though the leaking stopped, the oil was still gray. It could be that it was because of water that came into the engine before the pump fix, but I won't know that for sure until after the next oil change, I guess. You see? There it goes. Yep. Already 2.5 liters. Definitely faster than the 8 hours it took me back in the Netherlands. That is the sound of the oil emptying. Great, so let's put in some new one. Okay, I almost forgot. The raw water pump is now fixed. I'm actually going to take my extra one and get it to a mechanic to see if they can refurbish it, but that's another thing and it's not on the list. What I also started now is, of course, the oil, let me see, engine, oil and filters. So I've done one oil change. I will do another one and I will also change the filters. So it is doing. And lastly, I think the electrics engine charge is actually done too. It seems to be working just fine. Just, it's not that strong, so it needs quite a lot of voltage to actually charge. But when I really need it, I think it will work. So let's put that in done as well. So let's move on to the next project. The buttons for the pre-glowing and the start assist that I mentioned earlier.
After the holes were drilled, I also needed to pull some new cables.
I have this pilot line here. It's super tight in there, so I'm not sure if this is gonna work, but let's try it.
Yeah, let's just say it took quite a few tries that I won't bore you with the footage of. So through the magic of editing, here's the end result.
Alright, here we go. I got it up, so I'm just gonna connect these. Okay, so what I gotta do now is, of course, remove the tape and put on connectors to these wires. One of them, the big one, is for pre-glowing the engine. I've had this button loose in the cockpit, just kind of smushed in the engine room roof, the hatch. It's not been great, so now I'm installing it a little more permanently, even though I still think I maybe should get a new relay instead. And the other one is connected to a button that will go to a relay, the Cyrix CT relay. What the Cyrix does is that it moves the charge from the starter battery, from the alternator of the engine, and distributes it to the other bank, the 12-volt house bank. It also has a function that actually should be a starter help. So if I use that, I probably don't need to use the starter cables anymore. So what it does is when you push the button, the relay connects, and for 30 seconds it takes juice from the house battery as well as the starter battery. So that is the general plan. Now let's wire these.
I realized about here that my push buttons unfortunately were a little bit too short for the thick fiberglass they're supposed to be mounted through. So I had to resort to some heavy-duty gluing. This also means that I can't test the function until tomorrow when they're properly cured. And that will be next week for you, because I'll end this episode right here. Thanks for being with us. Please give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and don't hesitate to say hi in the comment section or through one of our social media platforms. Or even better, become a patron and connect with me and my crew directly. The algorithms of YouTube really premieres us when you are actively engaging with the video and the channel. So, a free way to support us is of course to click the subscribe button and the bell. And until next time, take care.